It is our proud privilege to have amidst us the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Sri Justice P. Sadashivam, to inaugurate this dream project of State Bank of Travancore. Sri Justice P. Sadashivam hails from our neighboring state of Tamil Nadu and started his career as an advocate in the Madras High Court. After serving as legal advisor for several departments, he was appointed as the judge of Madras High Court in 2007 and elevated to the post of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court on 19th of July 2013. He retired in April 2014. Sri Justice P. Sadashivam has delivered many historical judgments to his credit. He is considered as the icon of judicial excellence in the country. Sri Justice Sadashivam assumed office of the Governor of Kerala on 5th of September 2014. He is married to Srimati Saraswati and has 2 sons. May I now invite Honorable Governor of Kerala, Justice P. Sadashivam, for the inaugural speech.
Sri Jeevan Das Narayanan, Managing Director, State Bank of Travancore. Princess Gauri Lakshmi Bai, Sri Kunhi Raman, renowned sculptor, Sri S. Adikeshavan, Chief General Manager, Sri Varadaraj Iyer, General Manager, Project History, Madam Jabila Prakasham, Member of Legislative Assembly, officers and staff of State Bank of Travancore, Sahodari, Sahodaran Mare, Ellavarkum and Namaskaram. I am happy to attend this function which is called to inaugurate the Banking Museum of the State Bank of Travancore and to release the book entitled Tradition of Trust, the Saga of State Bank of Travancore. I congratulate the management of the State Bank of Travancore for initiating these projects which clearly depict the different stages in the growth of the premier banking institution in the state of Kerala. Like many other institutions, State Bank of Travancore also owes its origin to the far-sighted vision of the last Maharaja of erstwhile Travancore, Sri Chitra Tirunal Balarama Varma, who was known for progressive legislations and proactive decisions. What started as the Travancore Bank in 1945 later became the State Bank of Travancore by a special statute of the Indian Parliament through the SBI Subsidiary Banks Act of 1959. Since then, as an associate bank and member of State Bank Group, the State Bank of Travancore has contributed greatly to the economic and social growth of the state, namely Kerala. The success of a business house depends greatly on how it turns itself to the needs of the society and adjusts to the social, political, economic and technical changes. In the case of State Bank of Travancore, there has been perfect harmony in the relations it has maintained with the Kerala society. One can say that the bank has grown along with the Kerala society by offering more and more services and facilities, by creating the need for banking among the public. This bank, I am told, had only 305 branches in 1975. Now it has grown to over 1,157. the giant leap in the number of branches in the last 10 years is an indication of increase in people's interest in banking. The success of a bank depends on the trust and confidence the people have bestowed on it. The title of the book going to be released today, Tradition of Trust, also points to this thought. The idea of a book that details the history of an organization like the bank has a great relevance in more than one way, and the 70th year of existence is an appropriate time for this. First, it becomes an official record for future generations to refer. It also compiles bits of vital information that otherwise lies scattered in many documents. Such a book would also motivate our own staff and create in them understanding and pride that would eventually improve their performance. A recorded history also helps us to evaluate our past performance and to plan the future by diversifying our business and correcting the mistakes we made. Therefore, I would see this book and the museum as opportunities that would enable State Bank of Travancore to draft its vision statement for the coming years. While we think of banks, it is usual for us to see them as executive institutions that would rely more on collateral security and not on the needs of the people. In the recent past, banks have certainly widened their net of service, but it is to be seen whether they have won the confidence of common man. I am going to cite one or two illustrations in the latter. With the introduction of the Jan Dhan Yojana, there has been a great increase in the number of customers for all banks. But keeping these customers forever would be a challenge if we continue to use the old yardsticks of assessing the worth of a customer. It is here that society expects a sea change in the perception of the banks about the people at the grassroots level, like small farmers and petty traders. Stopping for a moment, a person hailing from village, by birth I am a farmer, agriculturist. I had a lot of experience with the banks. When I was a young lawyer, since my father at that time cultivate sugar cane, for that the banks advance money to the farmers, of course by offering security by the sugar mill. Now I had an opportunity at the young age to visit many banks along with my father. Because of more customers, particularly the farmers, the bank officials at that time, I remember this happened 40 years ago, now I am 67, even the managers or the persons in charge of agricultural banking were unable to fill up all the bank loans. They simply asked the farmers, including my father, I noticed, you sign at the bottom, next page at the top, and left side and right side. No time to fill up. That was the position. But nowadays, more personnel are there, modern equipments, machines are there, that may not be a problem. But because of the very intelligent policies of the government of India, now everyone is having an account in the bank thanks to our Prime Minister, and it one way saves money and curtails unnecessary expenditure also. Here what I want to inform the August gathering, most of them are respected staff members of this bank. The banks have given some priority to the agricultural sector, but the farmer at the micro level is yet to offer the banks his full trust. This is because the farmer's profit and loss statement is often drafted by an unsteady monsoon or a cruel drought. You might have seen the television channels and the print media, what is happening in Telangana, happening in Maharashtra, in several states. First time I am seeing drinking water is being transported in a railway wagon to some interior parts. Last month I had an opportunity to see the television channel. One farmer who received 4 lakhs from a nationalized bank for purchase of a tractor. It happened in Tamil Nadu. He pledged on getting the loan, on getting the tractor. He mortgaged the bank to that, mortgaged the tractor to that bank which offered money. The farmer is a middle class. I won't say he is a very poor. He can't use tractor with 1 or 2 acres. Maybe he may have 5 to 10 acres. He repaid, I am saying from the paper report, how far it is correct, he repaid 3 lakhs to the bank. It is not a nationalized bank, maybe financial bank. He left, he could not repay only 1 lakh, maybe interest may be there. For that, the bank which offered money obtained an order from the court for attachment and recovery. No, as a person, as a lawyer for 25 years and judge for nearly 2 decades and retired as a Chief Justice of India, on that day on seeing the news item, I was not able to digest. What happened? Under the guise of some order, court order, 4 policemen with a lathi went to the farmer's house. They mentioned everything to the farmer and they wanted to take the tractor to the bank or police station, I don't know. But you know the farmer's faith on these artisans, this tractor, his equipments, etc. He went and caught hold of the steering of the tractor. He refused to get down from the tractor. But unfortunately, this was shown in all electronic media in Tamil Nadu and subsequently at the national level also. 4 policemen with a lathi, they started beating that man just to remove him from the driver's seat. Very unfortunate. The law does not permit, no bank can go and use a policeman or gunda and insult or beat a person for recovery of loan. I said, in my experience, even if the tractor is mortgaged to a bank, there are methods. I am not saying that the banks have no remedy at all. They can attach the property and bring the property for sale in the manner known to law, step by step. The police have no role at all, particularly when a poor farmer unable to repay because of drought and other reasons, they have to consider. That's why I want, and at that time, it affects my entire mind and heart. In the national scenario, a big businessman could not or refused to pay back a huge amount to a nationalized bank. The electronic media, they divided the screen into two parts. Right side, they are showing that businessman going abroad. This poor farmer, these policemen were beating this poor farmer. Both were seen by almost all the people in India. That was shown in national media also. No, I felt, see, as a person hailing from a farming community and adorned the office of judgeship for 19 years, retired as a Chief Justice, I was wondering, even some courts could have taken suo motu and could have taken action against the persons who beat those farmers. So I thought this is the occasion I can convey my feelings. You need not be liberal to everyone, because the bank loan is a public money. Person sitting here and myself, we are paying tax to the government. It is a public money. You owe to the Reserve Bank and other lending banks. I appreciate. But you have to treat the petty traders and the small farmers if they have a reasonable explanation for not paying the amount on time. Or, for example, I don't know what is the assurance here our political leaders are giving. In the neighboring state, almost all the political parties have informed, when we come to power, we are going to cancel all the agricultural loans. On hearing this, any farmer is going to repay the money. See, so they will wait. Suppose if the party, almost all the political parties have made an assurance, when we come to the power, they have not mentioned below poverty line now. If you are a farmer, if you have a loan, I don't know how it is possible, they have assured that they are going to waive all the loan amounts, not even interest. I don't know how it happened. But definitely this kind of statement by political parties may change the mind of even persons who are willing to pay. They won't pay till results come. No, why I am saying is, I know I represented many banks before my elevation as High Court judge. I know the difficulties of the nationalized banks. They are answerable to Reserve Bank and other lending financial institutions. But my request is, what I want to say in this gathering is, for a small farmers, for petty traders, if they are unable to repay, the nationalized banks or banks like ours can give some concession. First you give some concession to while interest. Then for repayment you give long installments. Instead of 6 months or 1 year, give 2 years or 3 years. After all, he is not going to run away like the big businessman has done. That is my grievance. Farmer, he won't leave the land. That may be the reason when I retired as a Chief Justice of India, after retirement on 27/4/2014, two leading public sector undertaking like ONGC and Coal India came and met me. Sir, we heard from your press meet that you are going back to your village, not going to settle at Delhi. It is customary that we, the public sector, engage the knowledge and help from the former Chief Justices, appointing them as an arbitrator, because we have to recover thousands of crores by way of arbitration. You may assist us. No difficulty for stay at Delhi and conveyance, etc. They asked my concern. Now I said I retired as a Chief Justice of India first time from Tamil Nadu after 60 years. No, I don't want to again do the work like an advocate. Though I may get more money, now I want to go back to my father's profession, and I settled at my native village, which is a very, very remote village. I used to say, when I was Judge of the Supreme Court and Chief Justice of India, among my colleagues, I was the only person availing 3 modes of transport to reach my home. Then everybody answers to ask, what is the secret? from Delhi to Chennai by flight, Chennai to my district center, Erode, overnight train journey, from this Erode to my village by road. So flight, train and road. I know the feelings of lower level persons. So I want to spend my life in village only. At that time only I was asked to accept the governorship. Then I thought it is a constitutional post like a judge. So I readily agreed. That's why I am standing before you. I mentioned about the grievance of the farmers. This is because the farmers' profit and loss statement is often drafted by unsteady monsoon or a cruel drought. To him, the approach of the banks may not feel as liberal as the policies announced by the governments from time to time. The bank may help him, but will they be generous if his crop fails? Will they be generous if his crop fails? That is what I mentioned earlier. As long as he is not certain, we cannot expect his trust. The Mudra loan scheme is making an attempt to ensure financial inclusion of the classes of people who had to remain far from banking crowd for decades. The Yojana has boosted the morale of micro-level business people. It is for the banks to ensure that their spirit remains high and translates into trust in the banking sector. It is this trust that actually becomes the footprint of a bank on the sands of time. It is not something we earn through routine events of corporate social responsibility. It is a flow of gratitude that emanates from the hearts of the people whom you serve with a helping hand. I am happy to note that the efforts of State Bank of Trivandrum in reaching out to people with the new services are bearing fruit in the form of sustained growth and growing trust. I sincerely hope that this growth and trust continue forever. I congratulate all those who put their efforts into the setting up of the museum, especially renowned artist Sri Kanai Kunhi Raman, who has sculptured the bust of Maharaja. I also place on record my appreciation for Dr. S. Hemachandran for his role as advisor to the project, and to Sri J. N. Thambi, Sri T. K. Rajagopalan, Sri T. Balakrishnan for the publication of history book. With these words, I declare the Banking Museum of the State Bank of Trivandrum open. എല്ലാവർക്കും എൻ്റെ ആശംസകൾ. നന്ദി. ജയ് ഹിന്ദ്.